There's a line in one of Samuel Beckett's writings, I can't remember which one now, I'll remember it, where he talks about feeling that he exists as this kind of infinitely thin foil or film at the liminal point between his insides and his outsides. That he himself hasn't got any content. He's just, as I say, the contact point between his inner world and the outer world. And I find that a really compelling image. Certainly in terms of, how I think and how a lot of the reading that I do seems to support, is that, we either engage with the world through its exterior manifestations. We use our perceptions, exteroception I think it's actually called, perception exterior to oneself, like I'm doing now, looking out into the world, touching things, feeling the ground under my feet, hearing the sounds of cars and my dog sniffing, feeling this slight chill on my skin, all those kind of sensations. And then there's a kind of interior experience that I seem to be having, which I can choose to engage with more fully, which I think is called interoception. So I can kind of listen to the sound of my own heartbeat, or I can feel the air coming into my lungs. I can put attention to various parts of the interior of my physical body to get a sense of what that's like, and also the kind of interior world of feelings and memory, I guess. I'm not sure about memory, but certainly some kind of interior experience. But either way, whether I'm looking outside or looking inside, I'm not in the places that I'm looking. When I'm looking at the exterior world, I don't really feel like I'm in the exterior world. I feel I'm looking out onto it. And conversely, when I'm trying to kind of do this interoception thing, I'll just be slightly introspective in a more cognitive sense. Again, it doesn't feel like I'm in my inner experience. It seems like I'm looking into my inner experience. So, unless I'm switching my viewpoint from inside to outside when I'm making that change, the only thing that makes sense is that I'm kind of located, as Beckett suggests, at this meeting point, this liminal point, this infinitely thin, contentless point, which is just where those things come into contact, I suppose. I don't know what the significance of that is, really. I mean, the way I'm conceptualizing that, and there's no kind of empirical or scientific or any other kind of validity to this other than poetic, but the way I conceptualize that is, well, the question I think I have to ask when I'm doing that is, what's doing the looking? If I'm looking out onto the world and the world is my experience, and I'm looking in on the world and that is my experience, then the eye that's doing the looking is not part of the experience. It's always separate from the experience, whether that be inner or outer. So what is that? And the way I'm conceptualizing that is a bit like an interference pattern or a moire pattern, something like that. And as I say, this is just a poetic image. It has no greater significance than that. I'm kind of imagining the light and the sounds and the textures and the temperatures and all those kind of stimulus from the outside world forming this it's like a set of waves, I guess, like electromagnetic waves, a very complex electromagnetic wave pattern that's kind of coming at me. And then I imagine a similar kind of set of waves emanating from within, and I say it's purely poetic, I don't really believe these waves exist. I imagine all those interior sensations, physiological sensations, cognitive experiences, memories, emotions, all that stuff, again, is forming this complex wave pattern. And these two wave patterns, the interior and the exterior, meet at this point of confluence, this interface, where inner and outer meet at this infinitely thin, contentless foil, this film-like surface that Beckett talks about. And it's the interference pattern that gives me this feeling of viewpoint, I suppose. I guess what I'm saying is that feeling of self, which feels like a looking out onto, or feels like a are looking in from, that feeling itself is possibly constructed through the interference pattern produced by these kind of overlapping diffraction gratings or interfering waveforms or kind of harmonics, some of which are very stable, some of which are changing rapidly second by second as I see the cycle coming down the path towards me, or as I look at the Shetland pony in the field. Listen to the sound of my own breathing.